Welcome, design students. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start unwrapping and texturing your fantasy house that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. So the first thing you need to do is delete your history. So let's go to Edit, Delete All by Type, History. And then we need to delete any unseen polygons. And I'm going to work on this bottom piece here, and I'm also going to work on this sort of shelter. So I'm going to select those two things, and you should do this too. It's helpful to just work on the objects you're going to unwrap instead of having everything visible. Select what you want to unwrap and then hit Display, Hide, Unselected Objects. And now I've got everything hidden except those two. Now I've already deleted the top polygon and the bottom polygon of this, and I also went through and deleted the bottom polygons of these boards, and and I deleted the top polygons of these boards that are hidden under the roof. So you should do the same. And then when you're ready to unwrap, of course, we need to switch to the UV editing workspace and then select the object you want to work on. I'm going to work on this simple one here first. So I'm going to work on this simpler one here, so I'm going to go ahead and select it, and you can see the UVs appear in the UV editor. And we're going to use something interesting, something that we haven't used before here. We're going to use the checker map. So to find the checker map, if you don't see it, you might have to expand this window, but this is what it looks like right here. If you click it, you will see that a checker map appears on your object. Now, let's start with these two sides. So we're going to switch to face mode and then click those polygons that make up that side, and I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm going to do them both at the same time. So the next thing we need to do is get the move tool and check and see which axis they're on. These are on the X axis, and we need to apply planar projection on that axis. So we're going to click X and project, and here they are. Now notice the checkers are distorted. So I'm going to get the scale tool, and I'm going to scale them down in this one direction in the y-axis until the checkers get square. Then I'm going to scale the whole thing down, and I'm going to move them over to the side so I can work with them a little bit. Now if you click this little icon in your tool set right here, it will show the checker map in your UV Workspace. And notice it repeats wherever I go. So I'm going to put it right here over these words, and to see if any one of them is flipped. Now this one is flipped. Now these are on top of each other here, so I need to select them. So I'm going to go to my UV toolkit, and I'm going to use Select UV Element here, and I'm going to click on one, just click once, and I'm going to separate them. I'm also going to turn this on here, and that shows me which ones are flipped and which ones are not. So I'm going to move this red one is flipped, and it needs to be flipped. So the reason I'm using the letters here is so I can see which direction to flip it. I'm going to hit Transform, and I'm going to find the flip, and I'm going to flip it and see if the letters are correct, and they are. So now I'm just going to leave those there for now, and then we're going to do this front wall here. I'm going to switch to face mode, and in the viewport, I'm going to select these in the viewport. I'm going to click that one, that one, that one, that one. Now remember, this makes up, and if the this is multiple polygons, I'm also going to click the window. If the checkerboard gets in your way, you can turn it off. So these on the inside of the window are on different axes, so I'm going to not do those for now, but these are on the Z axis. So I'm going to go to UV, Planar, Z, Project. And then I'm going to turn the checker map back on. And I'm going to scale them until the checkers are square. And I'm going to scale the whole thing down, and it should be roughly the same scale as the sides here. So I'm going to scale that down until it sort of is the same width here, or the same height. And the window is inside here. So if I go to my select by UV element here and I click that, you can see that the window is there. See? So I'm going to separate that out and put that over here. Now these are red, that means they need to be flipped. So let's see which direction they need to be flipped in. Put them over the words, and we're going to flip them and make sure that it's correct, and it is. So I'm just going to leave those there for now, and let's do the insides of the window. Whoop. And I'm only going to do these two here. Actually, I need to be in face mode, sorry. I'm going to do that one and that one. They are on the x-axis, so we're going to go planar projection, x, project, and these are going to need to be scaled a lot. So we're going to look at them and see, make sure we can see the checker. They need to be scaled this way until the squares are square, and then down that way until they're roughly the same scale relative to the window. So move this over here and scale them down until they fit the same height as the window. Now they're on top of each other, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they're both going to be the same texture anyway. So now I'm going to switch back to face mode, or make sure I'm in face mode, and click that one and that one. Now these are going to be projected in the y-axis, and we need to look at the checker to make sure we're scaling it correctly. And I think I need to scale these this way. That is correct. And then this way, all axes, and then move them over here by the window so I can scale them down so they make sense. And then we need to do this back wall. That's on the z-axis. It does not need to be flipped. You can see that the letters are in the correct orientation. That's the wrong one. There it is. Now this central space here, right here, is your main UV workspace, and so you need to kind of, what we're going to do is we're going to, the reason I'm putting things out here is because every time we project, they appear back in that main workspace. So we don't want to clutter that up. We don't want to select anything by accident, so I'm putting things out here temporarily. Now when we get them all unwrapped, like we have now done, we have to pack them back into this central area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to object mode, and I'm going to select the shed, which I have grouped, and I'm going to hide it. Now it disappears from my UV workspace, and when I select my house part, here are the UVs that I have unwrapped. I'm going to switch to UV element mode, and I'm going to scale them all down, and then I'm going to move them in the central space right here. Everything has to fit in this square, or it won't render out. And then I'm going to take these and put them, I think, down here on the bottom. And I've already done this once, so I kind of know how they're going to work. So I'm going to scale these up a lot until they fit as much as they can. Then I'm going to scale these up the same way. And this process that I'm doing here is called packing the UVs. And I'm in UV selection mode here. Now I'm going to go over here and get the windows and scale them way up. And you need to try to keep them sort of the same scale as what you're working as the other parts here. So, and then these, remember they're on top of each other. They can go like so. I have now packed the UVs for this element, and I'm done unwrapping it. So the next step would be to generate a UV template by clicking the camera here, but you got to have your UVs selected. I'm in UV selection mode. I always change this to green. I feel like I can see it better. And this really doesn't matter where this goes, but you should probably put this in your project folder at least at some point so you have it all together. I'm just going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to click Apply and Close. It says I already have one there. Oops, because I named it Crate. I'm going to rename it. And Apply and Close. So now, on my desktop, I have a UV snapshot that looks like that. Now I'm going to unhide everything else and click this, and you can see now that the UVs appear in here. So this element has been unwrapped. Your workspace here won't get cluttered up because it only exhibits what you click, what you have selected. So in the next video, we are going to work on texturing the item we just unwrapped, and then we're going to probably move forward and unwrap a couple of other things so I can show you some ways to save time. And I'll see you in the next video.